I decided to read Fourth Wing not because I'm in the habit of checking out book talk recommendations,
There's so much porn!
but because the premise of Fourth Wing sounded roughly similar to the book I'm writing, primarily the aspect of it being about a young woman who's going to a military academy whose mother is also a general. Lest I be accused of trend chasing or anything. Luckily, it's not really all that similar, and also my book is better. And I'm not saying that out of conceit or arrogance, I'm saying that because if Fourth Wing is the standard of quality, then the bar is in hell. First things first, this book is gross. Made me feel dirty reading it. These characters are supposed to be young adults, right? Early 20s, but they don't come off that way. They come off like 15, 16-year-olds, as if this book was originally intended to be like a YA, like Harry Potter knockoff type of thing. But then Rebecca Yarros decided that she wanted to include sex scenes, so she rewrote the characters' ages, but nothing else. And it still just reads like it's a bunch of children fucking each other. Also, it's just really weird and awkward how Violet describes being horny. Like, whenever she's horny, which is quite often, she describes it like her head is burning and her toes are tingling, and it's just weird. It's weird. Also, life is really cheap in this book in like a really dumb way. Like every other page, some red shirt character is getting killed. And all of this is presented as like the super serious stakes of Basgiath War College, but it really didn't come off that way. This artificial heightening of stakes didn't have me at the edge of my seat. It had the opposite effect of numbing me to the mortality and death in this book. To the point where I didn't even give a shit if the main characters lived or died. Not helped by the fact that I really came to dislike these characters by their own merits. Also, like, nothing really happens, like nothing of note, no major events. For a book about a dragon riding academy, this book is frustratingly uneventful. It's just these paper doll characters fucking around at low-rent Hogwarts, and there was this one point in like the last third of the book where it was like announced that the academy was under attack, and everyone had to prepare to defend it. But then it turned out, oh, that was just a drill. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, the book does have a big climactic battle scene at the end, not because they built up to it, not because it earned it, but because the book is almost over and basic plot formula calls for it. And despite the high stakes that this book is advertised as having, I really didn't feel anything during that final battle scene. Like I said, I did not care whether the main characters lived or died. Violet and Xaden and them and all of their dragons could have just fell to the ground dead, and I would have just been happy that the book is finally over. Oh, and I'm not done, because that last chapter from Xaden's POV made my eyes roll back a full 180. Elliot Brooks called this type of thing out in her video about male character tropes. Like, if you're gonna have a male love interest in like a female POV romantic fantasy type of story, don't put the reader inside his head, because he's just an empty shell. He's basically just like Riley's imaginary boyfriend from Inside Out.
I would die for Riley.
When you finally get his perspective, it's like, I'll do anything for her if only she understood. And I can't stop thinking about her. Doesn't she know I'd burn the world down for her? And you're just like, wow, I'm so glad we finally got to see inside his head.
And that stupid-ass ending that's supposed to be like a cliffhanger, where Violet's brother says, "Welcome to the revolution." Like, you can't just have a whole book where nothing happens and then expect me to be excited to see what happens next. The only positive thing I can think to say about Fourth Wing is that it cured me of my imposter syndrome, because I literally write something better every time I wipe my ass.